Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the brand new Italian Tier 9 Premium Heavy Tank, the Felice, or the Felice. We'll stick with the Felice because it sounds more fancy. So, if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Felice. It is a Tier 9 heavy tank that excels in hull down. The turret armour, if you're on flat, generally has about 290 effective, but as soon as you use the full width of the gun depression, it gets to about 350 to 360. So if you are on flat ground, don't be surprised if Tier 10 premium rounds do go through the front of the turret. That can be a bit painful, but on the whole, this tank is a pretty decent tank to play. Why? Because it is good hull down. It has a very hard-hitting 127mm gun that hits for 480 alpha. You've got very good shell velocity on the standard APCR rounds, which is beautiful. The mobility is actually pretty good for a heavy tank. The upper plate will bounce you a decent amount, but like I say, if they load premium, that's where they start to go through it. And you can side scrape with this tank pretty nicely as well, as long as they're not hitting these little cheeky points on the side. You can have a pretty decent time with the Felice. On the whole, it's just a pretty balanced heavy tank. And it is a tank that you will be getting at level 100 on the Season Pass. So if you buy the Season Pass for 2k gold, which you should always really be doing if you know you're going to be able to complete the Season Pass, you'll be able to get this tank. And the reason I always say the Season Pass is worth it is because you get that 2,000 gold back with change, and you also get chests where, even though the chests these days aren't as good, you still got the chance of getting premium tanks out of it, which we'll always take. So yeah, the Felice, like I say, it's a tank that I have enjoyed playing. It's fully capable. That's what we're always looking for. A tank that's not going to sit there going, well, I'm just doomed. It's fully capable of doing what it wants to do. It hits hard, which is super satisfying. Like I said, the APCR velocity is delightful, and it's got that clear strength in the fact that you want to go hull down. Just be careful of sitting still when you are hull down, or sitting still when you are on flat, because obviously if premium rounds do go through the turret front, that's a thing. But even with standard rounds, they can hit your cupola on top here, which is also a spot that you want to aim for if you're shooting at the Felice, because that's a position where it can go through you. So without further ado, let's get into the statistics of the Felice. As you can see, we've got a 45 km/h top speed with a 15 km/h reverse speed. 900 horsepower engine is 15 horsepower per ton ratio, which means generally you get towards that 45 km/h top speed. Since you are a heavy tank, you are a bit sluggish to get there, especially with 2.2 on soft, 1.4 on medium, and 1.1 on firm. They can affect your top speed a little bit, so it's something that you might want to help if you want to run off-road driving. It's down to you, really. But generally, I've found that you go between 40 to 45, and that's where you get to with this tank, which makes it a pretty mobile heavy tank, seeing as the average heavy tank speed for a tier 8, tier 9, tier 10, for any tank in World War II that's a heavy tank, generally is about 35. So 45 is pretty nice to have for the old Felice. You've got 12% internal fire chance, which I haven't actually really been... I'm jinxing it now, I'm going to touch wood. Right, 12% internal fire chance. I haven't really been set on fire in this tank, which is quite good. You've got 1850 hit points, which is a good slab of hit points to use for this vehicle. 30 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means the tank doesn't turn that slowly, but it also doesn't turn that quickly. If the hull rotation speed does annoy you a little bit, you could quite easily run clutch braking to make that go at 33 degrees a second instead of 30. But I tend to run rapid aim instead, just to make sure the turret traverse is faster than the tracks, because my preference is always that the turret traverse goes faster than the tracks, because it's always a bit annoying when it doesn't, but it's down to you and how you want to play the vehicle. You got 400 meters of view range, which is very good for a heavy tank. It's typical at this point, really. That means you'll spot for yourself really, really well, especially if you run optics, situational awareness, etc., etc. You won't get outspotted too easily. You don't really have much camo, but you are a heavy tank. Naturally, that's where the Felice for us is changed to the PC, because naturally PC's Felice is a medium tank, so it's got better camo, that sort of stuff. But we actually have better armour on our hull armour. Trade-offs. So, we got 30 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which is the same as the hull, which is, like I say, I run rapid aim instead of the clutch braking, just to get that turret traverse better than that hull traverse, because it's just something that I prefer myself. We've got 1.26 accuracy during rotation, which is not good, with 3.78 accuracy during movement, which again, is not good. It means the aim circle does bloom out a fair bit, but if you run the gun stabilizer with all 3 gun perks, you can get those down to a pretty good level, and the aim circle isn't too bad. As you do have a 2.5 second aim time as well, which means it does take you a wee while to get the gun aimed in. But again, if you're running all the gun perks with the gun stabilizer, it's not too bad when you've got it set up. 8 degrees of gun depression is pretty damn nice. It means you are very flexible on a ridgeline. You can use that fantastic turret armor that this vehicle has when you are fully depressing the gun to be able to bounce quite a few shots off of it. You've got 0.42 accuracy at 100 meters, which is pretty derpy. It's pretty derpy. It is very derpy. You can get it down to, again, a decent level when you get it fully equipped, but generally the gun can miss some shots that you sit there going, oh, come on, gun. Although RNG is a thing, and you will hit shots that you go, oh, right, thanks, gun, and you might see that in some of the replays as well. I think you're going to see it best of both worlds in the replays, where the gun says, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to hit the floor now. Thank you for that. And you go, thanks, gun. That was great of you. But there we go. We've got 13.7 second reload, which is 2.1k DPM, which isn't the best DPM in the world, but we'll get that up to about 2.8 to 2.9k when we fully equip it, which is alright, but the thing is, it's the trade-off of the way these things always go. When you have that higher alpha, you don't tend to have as good a DPM, and the strength of this vehicle is going hull down and absolutely slapping. That alpha that we get at 480 is just juicy. As we have 256 penetration on the standard APCR rounds, with 310 penetration on the premium heat rounds, and 63 penetration on the HE rounds. Now, the 63 pen of HE is actually pretty good for 600 alpha. It means a lot of artillery you're going to be able to pen with that, and you'll do a significant amount of damage. 480 alpha on the APCR and heat is also delicious, as you have 1215 meters a second shell velocity. 1215 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR for a 480 alpha round is beautiful. A lot of the time, these guns that are big guns like the 127 are very derpy in terms of their accuracy, like this one is, but they also tend to have slow shell velocity. So 12-15 meters a second shell velocity is beautiful, and it makes this gun feel great. When you switch to the heat rounds, you will notice a massive difference in how the gun feels, because the shell velocity is below average. It is below that 1,000 meters a second shell velocity average. 850 is fairly slow, and it will feel derpier, and you will really have to adjust how far and how much lead you are giving to be able to hit the targets with that round. And as you are a tier 9 premium, you don't really have any bonuses. This tank doesn't make much silver. It doesn't do that well for crew training. It's a tier 9 premium. They generally don't. So like I say, with the armour, it's one of those things. You've got 290 on the gun mantlet, the 220 on the side cheeks. Like I say, is about 290 effective with sloping when you're on flat ground. And when you are managing to use the full width of your gun depression at 8 degrees, you will get that up to about 350 effective, 360 effective, which means you'll bounce pretty much most rounds when you're going hull down in this tank. It's just when you're going against the super duper premium rounds from tier 10 TDs, like Jagdpanzers, like the E4s, etc, etc. Sorry, we'll get there in the end. But even then, when E4s are firing at this thing, APCR's a thing, and because of the angle, sometimes they can ricochet. But yeah, generally the higher pen rounds will go through it, so be careful of that. And the difference that this tank has compared to PC is the fact that the upper plate is 110 on PC, whereas that is 150 for us, which really helps it, because I think when it's hull down on PC, it's about 240 it will actually still go, 240 to 250 will still go through that upper plate, whereas for us, it'll be a lot more, which is good for when you hull down. It means you're more durable in the fact that you won't just catch random shells in that upper plate and they'll go through. And then in terms of the modules, as you can see, that's where the engine block is. You will get your engine knocked out if it gets shot in the back, but I've not really felt that so much in the games that I've played so far. The ammo racks are there, and again, I've not really had my ammo rack damaged either. It's not happened yet in the 17 or 18 games I've played so far in the Felice, or the Felice. But if you want to damage the ammo rack on this vehicle, shoot it in the back of the turret in that section there, or on the underside of the hull underneath the turret, and you're likely to damage it. And that's where the crew sits in the old Felice as well. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment in the old Felice? Well, I run food, naturally, because you always want to do that, the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and optics. Optics are able to get the very good view range on this vehicle. Naturally, if you wanted to make the DPM better and everything about tank better, you could quite easily run vents instead, as you already do have a pretty decent view range. I mean, if you were to run this without a crew, I think you get 458. So if you were to run situational awareness as well, and stuff like that, you'll get above the 445 spotting cap, and you wanted to run it a bit more heavy tanky, you could definitely go faster with the powertrain. You could run vents as well, like I say, to make the DPM better, accuracy better, aim time better, all the good stuffs that you want to get better on the old Felice. But I just like having the max view range I can possibly get so that I can spot for myself really, really easily, and especially when I get to those aggressive hull down locations, I can get some good assistance damage, and especially on maps like Proc or Mali, that can be invaluable. And with the gun stabilizer, we're getting that accuracy during movement and rotation down as low as possible, because otherwise the aim circle becomes huge and you really feel that 2.5 second aim time, and the gun generally just feels horrible if you don't help it. The advanced loader to make the best out of the reload, as you always want to do. And then in terms of a crew, we've got it in the old Progetto 66. Anubis, your calling is here. Go into the old Felice. So, in terms of that commander, we run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanic, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Snapshot, Rapid Aim. Rapid Aim to make the best of the turret traverse, so that again it can be faster than the tracks and just feel that generally a little bit nicer. All 3 gun perks in Steady Aim, Snapshot and Run and Gun to get that aim accuracy during rotation and movement down, get that aim circle as small as possible when it's blooming, and then just generally making your accuracy in general better. And we run Track Mechanic because a lot of the time if you're side scraping and you've already burnt the repair kit, it's nice to be able to get that tracks back on quicker, and especially when someone's shot you, not done any damage, they've tracked you, you can get the tracks back on quicker, poke round, get shot into them before they've reloaded. That's one of the reasons it's nice to have that. And then, well, these five perks in general you can run on every single tank in World War II. So let's have a look at the statistics now of the Felice with it fully equipped. Now, as you can see, the ground resistances have got a little bit better. It's only really the soft that truly does affect it a little bit, but if you wanted to make those ground resistances even better, you could run off-road driving, and that will really not affect your top speed whatsoever. We've got 512 meters of view range, which is absolutely fantastic, which is where I say you could quite easily drop something like optics for something like vents to be able to make everything about the tank better and then still get a little bit of extra view range out of it. Or you could run something like the traction system or the powertrain just to get that extra get that extra top speed. I would probably more likely to run the powertrain than the traction system just to get that extra top speed, but also to get that extra oomph in the engine and help you get there more consistently. And then you've got 36.49 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which is way quicker than it was. It's, 6.49 degrees a second faster than it was already. And it's way faster than the tracks now, which makes that turret traverse feel very, very responsive. We've got 0.69 accuracy during rotation, which is so much better than it was. So much better. It was atrocious before we helped it. Now it's pretty good. We've got 2.16 accuracy during movement paired with it, which means that, again, the aim circle does bloom out when you're moving, but it's way better than it was. And it means that even, you'll see it in the replays, that even when you're moving and turning the turret and stuff, it's not horrendous. And you still will feel the 2.3 second aim time that we've got now, but it's not as bad as it was. If you do not help the gun, I cannot stress to you how bad this gun is if you do not help it. So help it out as much as possible, because then it becomes pretty good. Generally, it goes from being terrible to actually pretty good. We've got 0.34 accuracy at 100 meters, which is still not great for considering what a lot of guns get to now if you fully equip it like we have, and means you will still derp shots, but generally it's not horrendous because it's getting below that derpy section of 0.35. We've also got a 9.99 second reload, which is 2.8k DPM, and that's where I say you could instead run something like vents to try and get a better reload, and you could get up to 2.9k DPM, 2.95k DPM, and you still have 476 meters of view range. And as you can see, your turret traverse has even got better there, your accuracy's got better, your accuracy during movement and rotation's got a little bit better, and your aim time's got a little bit better, which is where vents could help out quite a bit, or you could just run something like the powertrain to be able to get that extra oomph in the engine. It gives you an extra 45 horsepower, which is 0.75 horsepower per ton ratio, as well as getting you up to that 47.25, and you still have 465 meters of view range, which is not atrocious at all. But it's really down to you and how you want to play the vehicle. I just like having that max view range so I can spot people at good distances and get a lot of assistance damage, which you might see in one of the two other replays as well. So yeah, that is the Felice. It is a pretty damn solid heavy tank. It's just pretty balanced generally. There's not anything, it's not one of those tanks where you go, oh my god, it's absolutely incredible, but it's not one of those tanks you go, oh my god, this tank's awful. It's one of those tanks that is just pretty solid at what it does. Go hull down, slap with this 127mm gun, and you will have some fun with it. It can be a pretty fun tank to play generally if you like those hull-down kind of tanks. Use the mobility to its advantage and just slap with the 127mm gun. And it's the tank that you can get for the Season Pass at level 100 if you buy the 2k pass. So what I'm going to do now is send you into the replays where you can watch this tank in action, see how it handles, and just see if it's a bit of you or not. I'll see what you're going to be getting once you've bought the Season Pass. So as always, everybody, I'll see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the Felice, and this first game we are on this map, which is Duckler Pass. It's in front of my face, you moron. Read the bloody screen. So Duckler Pass, what I'm thinking of doing is, well, I'm a heavy tank, right? And normally in a heavy tank, I think, okay, I might go down the JK line. Go hull down on the ridges at J8 and try and slap people as a cross. I'm not the biggest fan of fighting on that line in general, and if I'm in a tank that's mobile enough, which I feel like the Felice could be, I do like going to the position at D3-4. Because D3-4, that area there, when you can go hull down in a vehicle that's good at going hull down, like this tank is, you can spot the people that cross the 1-2, get free shots into them, and if you have enough people that are sitting behind you and tank destroying, you can get a good amount of assistance by doing that as well. You can also force the enemy team to do stupid things as they go, aha, tank, I shall YOLO, and they die quite significantly quickly for that as well. So you've got to have some speed to get there, and with the 45km/h top speed that the Felice has, I feel like I was quite confident of getting there. So far, you've seen we were going about 36, 37, 38 generally. But as soon as we hit this decline, we were straight up to that 45, and we do generally hold about that as well until we go up the hill. We've got two heavy tanks that are coming with us along the A-line. We've got a medium tank and a TD, and another TD at D8 as well that are sat behind us. So they could conceivably shoot things that we spot if they do push us quite aggressively. So I've not been spotted by anything that's sitting at F4, which is quite reassuring, because that's one thing that we've crossed the danger areas, because there are danger areas getting here, and that is one of them that we've just crossed there, because if they have someone sitting at E4, it can go quite badly for you. So we're going to poke around the corner, see if we can spot anything that's on the corner that does tend to sit over there, but the Cranvarn gets spotted behind the cover, and so we can't get a shot at him. We actually find the 140 a little bit later than I was truly expecting. I thought when I poked over originally that I would have found someone straight away, but the 140 was quite late in getting spotted there, and he gets a shot into my side, and sadly, the gun derped. We had the whole side of the 140, and that was the ugly side of the gun there. With the whole side that we could pen, we hit the turret instead, and we ricocheted off the turret front. Pain. But he bounces off our turret front, because like I said, the turret front of this tank is very, very good. It's just that if he was to fire heat, for example, he would go through it. We've got the lower plate of the Cranvarn. Very poor shot from me, rather. That wasn't even the derpy gun. That was just a bad shot from me. Trying to find the shot, because indecision was caught in me there. I was looking for the shot into the side of his turret, but then I thought, oh wait, actually I have a better shot into his lower plate, and I tried to snap the shot into the lower plate and I missed. We've tried to get the cupola of the 140 and failed, but there's a chieftain that we can try and get the drive wheel of, so we put the shot into the drive wheel. 448, that's why I love this gun, it slaps so hard. I mean, a 448 is a low roll as well, it's why it's very, very nice. The one thing to note with this gun is it is a 127mm gun, but the gun sound is wrong. I'm pretty sure that the gun sound's bugged, because it sounds like a 105mm gun. It sounds like the exact same gun as that 140 over there, which is, well, a 100mm, but it sounds exactly the same as that gun, when it shouldn't do. It should have a bigger boom of a sound. It should sound more like an E75 gun, but there we go. But I digress. Party Wagon is out. Oh, what gone? We end up hitting the floor there where we could have got a nice shot into the Party Wagon, which means we could have put this guy down to a one-shot right now if we'd actually got that first shot in. The 140 pokes over and gets a shot into us. He gets two shots in because his DPM is that good. Put us down to 899 HP. We bounce the shot off our turret front from the next one. Go for his upper plate, but sadly, the APCR ricochets off of his upper plate there with 256 pen, sorry. I was really hoping that I should go through that upper plate, but I think the APCR said absolutely not. Normalization's a thing, and I will ricochet now. So we get a shot into the side of the 140, who's deciding to run away. Brave Sir Robin, because naturally the chieftain is now dead down at C1. His Cranvarn's dead. Party Wagon's run away. In fact, Party Wagon's dead as well. So he's all alone on this flank and realised that, and he's going to go. they've won the other flank. Most of their tanks were on the other flank, or should I say, we've killed 4 tanks here. Most of our tanks were on the other flank, so it was a pretty even match over there, but our team has basically lost it. So we are going to try and progress, find the arty, find a shot into the 140, and get rid of these guys before thinking about possibly turning around. So I'm watching the corner of the map. There he is. There is the artillery. That was the shell tracer right there. So I know roughly where that guy is. We get a shot into the 140. Sadly, he gets the shot into me. But now we'll reload him. I'm thinking, okay, I know roughly where that artillery was. I'm going to go for the blind fire. They're normally in and around that bush. There we go. Straight into the M53-55 on the blind fire. He tries to blind fire us. And that artillery is going to end up getting shut down by our VZ-55. It's always worth taking that blind fire. Always worth it, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I saw exactly where the shell tracer came from at K1, in that general vicinity, and when you are looking to blind fire artillery back in their base, in that position on Duckler Pass, they're usually in and around that bush where I fired at. So we're on to 2.8k damage, with 1280 blocked, which is pretty decent. We're down to 594 hit points, which isn't great. But a lot of their team were already pushing towards our spawn. Our base. We've got 2 people that are entering the cap for us. So I'm going to see if I can try and get a shot into this M103. I do have the side of his turret, but it's just an awkward shot. Medium tank spotted that was the 140 from earlier on. Hello, Mr. 140. Remember me? And we finish off the 140 there with a shot through the side. We've started capping with 2 people in the cap. We've got a heavy tank that's going towards it, so we're probably going to get 3 into the cap, which should hopefully win it for us. But we need to go back and get into a position where we can reset just to make sure we are going to win. So we've got 30 seconds left on our cap. They've got 52, but they've not got anyone. They've not got a third person in the cap yet. So we'll see what happens if that third person finally does enter the cap. We've got the mobility where I feel like with 30 odd seconds we're going to get there. In fact, their third person's entered the cap and they're going to win by 1 second. 1 whole bloody second. Ugh, game. Damn it. So this really matters now. We have to get back to that cap and reset. And again, with the mobility of the Felice at 45 and the decent horsepower to ton ratio, even going up this hill, I feel like I am going to get there and get the reset in. But it's going to be close. So there's the ML2. We're going to poke over to the point where I can see the whole of that tank. Aim it, make sure. And we shut down the ML2, meaning that we're going to win. We're going to win by cap. Now, I'm not going to get a reload in. But we win the game by cap. Basically just about saved it there with the shot into the ML2 to shut him down to reset the cap. We finished with the victory. 2 kills, 3.2k damage, 1280 blocked. The third class with that 1175 base XP, a fairly average game there for the Felice on Duckler Pass, and that really did show off the good and the bad of the vehicle, to be fair, where the gun, you know, the gun slaps, it's great, it's lovely, the shell velocity is beautiful, the mobility is pretty good, you can bounce a good amount off the turret front, but if you expose the hull, it goes a little bit sourly, and then the gun does love a good derp. It really does. It loves a good derp. There's some shots where you're sitting there going, aha, I've got... Oh, it derped. Thanks for that gun. Great. So we're on to the second replay. And the second replay, we're here on Sand River. And on Sand River, what I'm going to do is go to the position at G5 so that I can shoot the people across the K-line. If I get spotted, I can pull back quite easily. And we can also spot people as they cross the JK line, because people do go, like that TD there, or the bit heavy tank, they do cross open. So we're going to poke over on top of this ridge line, and we're going to make mistakes, because we shouldn't do what we're doing right now. This is just a mistake. This is the way to lose a lot of hit points, as we lose nearly 1,000 hit points in the blink of an eye. We do get a shot into the ML2, which is great, but that was just stupid. That was because I wanted to get a shot into the ML2 before he got away, and we had to get around the King Dragon, and we were just being greedy. That was just stupid. But we did get another shot into the ML2, who just kindly went, you know what? I'm going to let you shoot me. I'm going to stop in the open, bounce off your turret, and let you shoot me in the side. Thank you, Mr. Emil. We've got the side of the G-Source turret and the gun derps. We had the whole side of the G-Source turret, and the gun shot the front of the turret at an extreme angle and ricocheted because APCR, 2 degrees of normalization, all that shabazz. So we try go for the shot into the top of the 105-1000's turret. Don't quite get it. We've got an awkward angle off of this little ridge. We overexpose our side. The TNH 105-1000 gets a shot into our side. Bad play there, as we actually ricocheted off of the top of his engine deck as well, which was just silly. We've made silly mistakes already so far in this game. We've lost a lot of hit points, which was really stupid. But there we go. From where our medium tank is, now down at K7, I know I can quite safely sit here to get a shot into the Waffle E100's turret, which we hit for 553. Take that, to the bank and back. Trying to get another shot in, but he gets shut down. Now the TNH 105-1000 and the T-54E2 are distracted. We get a shot into the back of that guy's turret, just trying to reverse it. Thankfully, we get back in time so we don't take a hit from those guys. Going to reverse down into a better position for getting shots into the back of them. As the TNH 105-1000 gets put down to a one-shot, we finish him off. The T-54E2, which is the unskinned Sergeant Slaughter, is starting to take hits and is distracted. And I decide, Geronimo! Style points. I don't care that I lost like 100, 200 hit points there. Style points. That's how we secure the kill. So we're up to 2.1k damage with 2,054 assistance. Again, we got all that assistance because we were spotting people that were at the back of the map at J89. That's where it pays to have that 512 meters of view range, because you can spot people at further distance. Well, you can spot people up to the 445 meters of view range cap. And by that, I mean you can spot people up to 445 meters. And then every meter of view range you get over that 445 is where you start to devalue people's camo, which means you spot them easier at that 4-5 meters if they've got really good camo. So we're hull down on this ridge. We're in the perfect spot. And we're just taking blind fires at that ridge over there, because again, we've seen shell tracers. You can see them. There is something up there firing AP sitting on that back ridge. So because it's not spotted, we miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We're going to try it again. We've got no shots at anyone, but I cannot move up from this position because we're just going to die. So I'm just waiting. We end up taking the hit. I see exactly roundabouts where it is. So we're going to put the blind fire out, and we missed that one as well. We're not quite hitting it. There it goes again, shooting my friend for 6. Waiting on the reload to try and get this guy. Again, there we go. We see the shell tracer this time. Exactly where it came from. Perfect things. Thank you, Mr. AVRE, for just going and sitting on top of the ridge. And we get the blind fire into whatever that tank was. We're up to 2.6k damage to 2.3k assistance. Looking for the shot into the Leopard 1, but we can't quite see it. And I really do want to move up to where that medium tank is right now, but I'm waiting on the Dragon to actually poke around that corner, because if he pokes around that corner on that ridge, he should actually see what it is that's been looking at us. And there it is. It's the Centennial. We put a shot into that Centennial for a good amount there, breaking his ammo rack, and then the AVRE didn't actually panic, which is mental. 4 tanks left on the enemy team. AVRE, M48, M103. We know where 2 of them are. There's 2 of them, I think, behind that ridge where the M103 is currently spotted at D7. And then there's the M48A5 and I think it's the AVRE that's pushing, yeah, it's the AVRE pushing across their base. So we're now caught out in a very open spot. If this guy decided to turn around and shoot us, it could be catastrophic, because that game would be over. But we do manage to get the shot in to finish off the M48A5, and the AVRE is, well, the AVRE is just running. He's trying to get himself safe. So we put a shot towards the Centurion AVRE, and of course, we shot the one moment where there was a rock. I don't know about you, but I do that all the time, where you go, aha, I'm leading it to the perfect moment, waiting for my aim circle to get aimed in. This is the perfect time to strike. I shot a rock. Because where I decided where I'm going to fire, it was perfectly where a rock is. Happens all the freaking time. It's great. So we're up to 3.4k damage with 2.5k assistance. The 1481 base XP with the second class. Pretty decent game again for the Felice there on Sand River. Fairly average game again for it, realistically, there on that map. And we're on to the third replay. And the third replay, we're here on this map, which is El Haloof. And on the El Haloof, what we're going to do is go to B3. We're going to go to B3 because that is a good position to take in a tank, especially like the Felice, because we can get there quite quickly, so we should be able to catch people out as they cross the 1 line. But we can also use the 8 degrees of gun depression to good effect, bounce stuff off our turret, and then slap people with that 480 Alpha, because that's what it's all about. This tank is literally as simple as get to the ridge lines, go hull down, smash. That's Felice. Pretty much, that's Felice. So they've got 2 tank spots so far. Progetto 65 that is going up to the ridgeline at C2. The light tank that's at D4. And then a heavy tank's been spotted going down the 7 line. Now, if they go and sit on the hill at F6, we should be able to get shots at them if they push too aggressive. They've got 2 heavy tanks down there. 3 heavy tanks down there. Doesn't happen that often, but that means they're not going to have as many coming to this corner where we are, which will be quite nice. So I can't get a shot at the ELC, but we see the 780. Now, I can't quite find the shot at that 780 because of the buildings. So we're just aiming the shot up, hoping to get the shot in. Can't see the Emil 2, so we switch back to that 780, but sadly, we only track him. I'm going to angle up a little bit better to hope that I can bounce the guy. But sadly, he just went, ha, I see you're angling, and I shoot you anyway. And he pens us for 500 odd. We tried to get the shot into his side, but we ended up hitting the building, so we didn't actually manage to get the pen in. But this time, we do get the shot in for 514. He may have hit us for 500, but we sure hit him back for 514. And that's, again, what this tank is a speciality for. So we're just going to take the blind fire at that 780 as he was coming up over under that ridge. But sadly, we just didn't hit it. And now that 780 is gone, we're going to go pay attention to the flank we're actually attacking. We see the heavy tank is pushing along the A1 section. It's an SDRVK. He's a one-shot. He's going to die. The machine was poking around this corner, so he was watching that corner there, which meant that I knew I was safe to just drive over to this ridge. And now we've got the Projector 65 directly in front of us. We're going to see if we can get the shots into this guy while we're hulled down, being as careful as possible. Because if they have people that do like to sit at G3, we're not going to spot them until they fire. And if they fire, and it's a big gun, because they do have 3 TDs, it could hurt. So you've always got to be careful when you are pushing the people that are hulled down on these ridge lines. So with every second that we're poking over these ridge lines and not getting shot at, I'm starting to become bolder. Because it's getting to the point now where I'm not getting shot. So I don't think there is anything back there. Yeah, we're getting detected, but I'm pretty sure that's just the Progetto and the Tiger 2 looking at me. So we're just going to keep pushing it. And in fact, the T-32A is now where he is. And he's not being looked at, or he's not being shot. And we're not detected anymore. So there is definitely nothing back there to shoot at us. We're going to go for the snapshot there into that Tiger 2, and that's where the gun can be RNG. Because you've seen us miss some really easy shots with RNG. And then we hit a shot like that on the Tiger 2, which was beautiful. There's a Chrysler K down below. I don't particularly want to push the Chrysler K at this point because that Tiger 2 could just be waiting around the corner to get a shot in. But the machine goes flying around the corner. We managed to snap the shot into the Chrysler K side yet again. Gun says, absolutely, I'll do damage. Run to 2.5k damage with 360 blocked. We get around the corner onto the 60 TP. And for those 2 shots that we took on the Tiger 2 and the Chrysler K, we paid for it. We paid for it. RNG just gave us the middle finger. Whole side of that rear of the 60 TP. And we went low and did track damage only. Thanks, gun. Great times. So we put a shot into the upper plate of the 416, who gets rammed by the IS-7. Waiting on the reload so we can try and get a shot into the... Oh, my lord! Into that M53-55. But, well, Mr. 4005 said absolutely not and deleted that guy. We snapped a shot towards the UDES, which tracks him only, which... I'd have been happy if that had hit and penned, to be fair, because it wasn't fully aimed, and with the derpiness of this gun, we'll take the fact that we hit him. We're on to 2.9k damage with 300 assistance. We know there's TDs back there. There's the SU-130PM. We snapped a shot in for 529. Again, this gun can be very nice. At the same time, it can be derpy. We've got the side of the Tiger 2. He snaps a shot straight through us there. RBRT, bang. But we do get the shot into his side. We're up to 4,000 damage. Artillery's looking at us just over that ridgeline. He manages to not do any damage. We're looking for the shot into the Gorilla, but we can't quite find it. The UDES is pulling back. And we're currently still spotted. Now we're detected, and the UDES isn't looking at us. I'm thinking, okay, SU-130PM, where are you? We're spotted and detected. The SU-130PM is probably in that bush. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, people. You see it here. Always blind fire the obvious bushes. The obvious spots. Because we got spotted and detected. The only thing that could have spotted us and detected us there, because of our positioning, was the SU-130PM. So he was either going to be in that bush where the artillery was last spotted, or he was going to be in the bush where he's just been spotted right now. So it was a 50-50 gamble on which bush he was in. And we hit him, which is always what you want to do. We're up to 5,022 damage with the 300 assistance. We're now below the point where the artillery can actually hit us with his shell arc or his gun arc. Going for the shot into the Gorilla 15. And I'd probably died there if he'd decided... Well, no, I probably wouldn't have died. I'd have been unlucky to die there. Because he'd have had to high roll quite significantly to kill me. But I was fully expecting him to just go, you know what, I'm going to die, poke over his shooters anyway, and then lose all of his hit points. But I digress. We're up to 5.5k damage. Artillery's in front of us. I should load HE at this point, especially with the tanks that are left. I should load HE. Do that 600 alpha with the 63 penetration. But we put one shot into the Lorraine 15551, and then he gets shut down by the M4043. The SU-130PM is a one-shot. We put the shot straight through to secure our first kill of this game for 6,056 damage. The UDES gets shut down, then the Grill 15 gets shut down, and that means that we end the game with a pretty damn good total there for the Felice. We finish with the victory, 1 kill, 6,056 damage, 530 assistance, the first class, the high caliber, the Confederate, with the 1624 base XP. A pretty decent game there for the Felice on El Haluf, and I say pretty decent game, that's a pretty damn good game for it. Showing off the key strength of the vehicles again, which is just go hull down, slap away, have a good time. So, we're on to the fourth and final replay of this video, and we're here on this map, which is Mountain Pass. And on Mountain Pass, we're going to get a bit more brawly. So we're going to go down to the heavy tank flank, around the positions at J2 and 3, which is a good position again for the Felice to go, because we can go hull down on the little hill at J2, and that way we can bounce shots off our turret and just control the engagement in regards of using our turret. The problem with going down to that position at J2, again with Mountain Pass, is one of those that if you don't have enough support from your team, it can go south pretty quickly, because a lot of their team can generally push that flank. And yes, it will go pretty badly for you. So, this is the one thing that is nice about the Felice, though, is, again, that mobility. We're on flat. We're going about 43, 44. You don't tend to hit the 45 that often, but you go between the 40 to 45 range, which means you can get to positions like the one that's in front of us before a lot of other heavy tanks, meaning you can be just in the aggressive position early, ready to go, ready to farm. So we're here hull down, which is exactly where I want to be. I'm poking through to see if I can spot the moisture. Go for the shot into the side. Poor choice of shot, realistically, because we were never going to pen that. We need to hit the lower plate to be able to pen the moisture there. So I was just looking for maybe the cupola, see if he drives around the corner. He does. Gives us the lower plate. We put the shot in for 477. But he's now behind the rock, which means I can't actually get the shot into him anymore. So actually, because the moisture is the first one here, we all know how slow the motion is. It's like a mouse. It's just, it's slow. So, I'm questioning how many other tanks are actually going to be here. And there's actually a Chaug on the corner I hadn't poked round. But they seem to be the only two that are here. So you know what? I'm going to ignore the Chaug and the moisture for a minute or two. And we're going to poke round to see if there's a tank sitting on the corner at G5. Because if we can spot that from a TDs, we can get rid of it. So there it is. It's actually a Turan. We go for the tracking shot. We track Ampen for 518. And he's now a one-shot for us. So we're going to lock on with RBRT. Wait for the reload. And the moment we're reloaded, poke round and go for the snap. Which we do, finishing him off. Well, I think I was about to say before he manages to fire. But I think we actually got fortunate there that he hit the ridge line in front of us, or the rock line in front of us. So we get lucky again, realistically. That Chaug actually managed to ricochet off the side of our turret. He had most of our side, but his gun derped. Just poking around the corner to see if we can find any of their team. Can't find them, because a lot of them are sat at F7. And we're just going to take the risk. We get fortunate, unfortunate. The SDRV 1030 actually shoots us and pens us, but we get tracked by, I think it was the IS-7 that took a pot shot at us, so we got fortunate that that guy didn't actually pen us there. It was a risk, but I wanted to get over to this corner to get rid of this Chaug. So we put a shot into the side, into the lower plate, sorry, of the Chaug. The 705 also does that, and we've got the perfect rock in front of us to go and side scrape off of. So we've just got to try and bait this guy into shooting our side and firing his gun to then be able to put some shots in. So you can see the rock here, it's sticking out, it's perfect for us. So we end up taking the shot on our tracks, and this is where having that track mechanic is great, because the tracks are back on quickly before he gets the chance to reload, and we put the shot straight through his lower plate, and now we're going to side scrape off of this rock to make sure that we can try and, again, just bait the shot from this Chaug. So we put the shot into his lower plate because he's overexposing it, trying to find the shot into me, Mr. Felice. We end up taking the shot into our tracks yet again. Track mechanic saves us to be able to get the tracks back on faster. Go for that drive wheel to track and pen the Chaug. 511, great times. Just waiting on our reload now. And I'm at this point that I fired quick enough that I think maybe I'll get the shot in before he will. So we're just going to take the chancy shot into the side there, because that could have bounced, but it could also pen him. And we get to shut down the Polish tier 10 premium heavy tank there. We're up to 3.5k damage, 2.2k blocked. We're having a pretty damn nice game so far, especially for it's been a pretty damn tier 10 game. On Mountain Pass as well, which is not always the best map for a tank like this. But when you can go hull down and you've got the perfect places for side scraping and stuff, it can be pretty decent for a tank like the Felice. It's just where you've got to get stuck into a corridor where there's not much opportunity for that, where it does struggle. So we got the shot into the low plate of the T-57 Heavy. The IS-7 is currently sitting in a position where he thought he might be safe. So we put the shot through his lower plate, waiting for the reload, and then poking out to see if we can find the shot into there again. 492, sorry, 492. This is where this... When you are facing tanks like these guys, this is where this gun is delightful. Because 260 to finish off that IS-7 there. And we're on to our third kill of this game. Now, I was expecting the T-57 Heavy to pull round the corner and start to try and find shots at us. And especially if that guy's firing heat, he will go through the front of our tank pretty easily. But he's distracted by the tanks that are coming over the bridge. So we're just going to look to the right in case the SDRV-103O tries to look for shots at us. But we're going to push towards where the TD is and the T-57 Heavy. We low roll quite significantly for 437, meaning we don't kill the T-57 Heavy where he was a one-shot. Look for the rear and sadly don't get the shot in to finish him. There's the SDRV-103B that's in the corner and he's getting pressured by the Chieftain who shuts him down. But yeah, when you're chonking with this gun, it really does. It's super duper satisfying. And it is really weird to play a tank like the Felice where you have this 480 Alpha. Yeah, the gun can be derpy, but that 1215 meters a second shell velocity for a heavy tank with this kind of alpha is beautiful. It really, really is. It makes it genuinely, shell velocity is one of those things that makes guns like these feel better than they actually are. If you have a derpy shell velocity along like 600, 700, 800 meters a second shell velocity mixed with a derpy gun handling, you really feel how bad the gun is. But if you have really good shell velocity, a lot of the time you don't actually feel the extent of how poor of the accuracy can be on a tank like this. So 1215 is beautiful. So we ran round the corner. The M48A2 actually fired a heat rounder as penned us in the turret and broke our turret front. We're looking for the shot into the low plate of the Chieftain, but we just about lose gun depression there on the ridgeline, which was really awkward. He's now coming over to shoot us, which is not a good time for us. Thankfully, because we've got track mechanic and that, we're already going to put the tracks back on before he gets chance. But he gets shut down by the Chieftain behind him. We finish off the 279E with a shot through his side for our 5th kill, and we don't get the chance to shoot the 212A, the 212A. We'll get there in the end. We finish with the victory, 5 kills, 5.9k damage, 2.7k blocked, the ace tanker with that 2051 base XP. A really great game there for the Felice in a very tier 10 matchup there on Mountain Pass. And Felice, like I say, is a pretty balanced tier 9 premium heavy tank. It's very capable of having a nice game, as you've seen in the last two. It can struggle at certain points because the armor can let it down, especially when a lot of premium is being fired at it. But generally, on the whole, it's a pretty nice tank to get in the season pass for 2,000 gold. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.